start?
Yeah.
Okay. I've passed out 3 handouts here. As Alan mentioned, 2015 is a triennial update year for Stark County. And basically, just to give you some background, by state law, the auditor is required to value all properties and conduct a general reappraisal every 6 years. You may recall that our last general reappraisal was in 2012. In that same law, it's prescribed the 3rd year following the last general reappraisal, we have to conduct what they call a triennial update. And basically what that is we take a look at the sales trends over the past 2 to 3 years since our last general reappraisal, and we make across-the-board percentage adjustments to bring our market values more in line with recent sales trends since the last general reappraisal. It's different from a general reappraisal in that we don't look at each property and evaluate each property individually. We look more in terms of neighborhoods and just the overall pricing levels of property, whether it be agricultural, commercial, industrial, or residential throughout the county, and we make adjustments across the board. And that board may be an actual local allotment or neighborhood, or maybe as large as a city, village, or township. Basically, most owners are going to see a very similar adjustment when they look at their property value compared to their neighbors, as we just do it sort of across the neighborhoods. We have
So you would see if I looked at my number, I looked at my neighbors across the street in the exact same neighborhood, you'd see the
a very
same
percentage, yes.
Would it be the
yes.
same, or?
It could,
Or you
I
think
have
that
to
might
add
be the
this
same?
caveat, if the neighbor makes changes to the
Okay,
property
other than that.
remodels, other than any kind of maintenance or changes to the listing, it will be the same.
Okay.
Yeah. So basically, those of you that are familiar with the real estate market, the last few years have been very positive for Stark County. If you look at the one chart that I passed out here, this is basically a 10-year study of average sale prices for residential single-family homes in Stark County. And you remember a few years back when we had the general recession, basically this sort of charts pre-recession when we were in 2006 reappraisal. The average sale price was approximately $127,000, roughly rounded. It peaked in 2007 at $140,000, and then, as we all remember, the recession hit. 2008 and 2009, values dropped precipitously, and largely that change was captured in the 2009 triennial update, the 2012 reappraisal, those drops in prices. And now you can see since 2012, the trend has been back to being positive again on sale prices as they've changed in a positive direction.
But we still never recovered in 2007.
Yeah,
Wow.
largely. We still have not hit to that peak that we had right in 2007, but we're coming back to that point. So largely, the increases that we're seeing in residential properties, most properties are going to see anywhere from a 7 to 12% increase for residential. There are going to be people that see less than that. There's even going to be neighborhoods that are actually going to still have decreases. And that is based on studying the sales over the last couple of years in each local neighborhood.
So you think it's going to, the average county, in the county will be 7 to 12%?
7 to 12%. Most owners will see somewhere in that
Okay.
range
On the value.
You're right.
on the value. So, for instance, if they had a $100,000 valued house in 2014, they're going to see it worth anywhere between 107 to 112 in most areas. That's what they're going to see. CAUV, just to note, you probably read in the paper over the past year that their rates have increased quite dramatically for CAUV. They're seeing the largest increases as percentages in terms of their valuation for the soil values, which the auditor has no control over. It's set by the State Department of Taxation. On average, those soil values are going up approximately 40%. So that's a very significant increase. We're scheduled to have several public meetings on
Right, yeah, and on this,
yeah,
These-
I'll the notice too.
yeah, these blue sheets, why don't you talk about that?
Yeah.
We'll talk a little bit about what we're doing with the public to let them know and then
So-
know what's going on.
So just as a background, that's what we're doing. We have to do it by state law. We want the public to know, obviously, what we're doing and be involved with it. So we're sending out this Friday 140,000 notices in the mail that look like this. So you have a copy of an actual one that's going to be sent out so that you can see, basically we're sending it to the owners. And if you flip to the second page, we have listed for them, we're going to be at 33 days, we're going to be at 7 different locations.
No, do you have a lot of people answering the phones Monday?
Oh, yeah.
We do, we have a phone system ready to
It's
go.
all hands on deck.
Do you recall?
Yeah, I was gonna say, this brings back a lot of
Oh, my
fond
God.
memories.
Yes.
So, just as an aside, so, this is all, we back into when our numbers are due to the state and kind of work backwards. And if Jason had had his way, we would have done this about a month ago, because we've been ready to go. But we purposely waited until the tax
Yeah.
bills were done, so as not to overlap and to not
They would get
confuse,
That's
and to
Circuits-
confuse
circuits
the,
would be
yeah,
No,
the
that's-
folks on this.
That's exactly why we did it.
So we've been ready to go, and I'll let Jason keep talking.
Right.
We
So
have
we've-
21st quarter 2016 tax bill.
This will be the
This
20, yeah,
yes.
go ahead.
So that's when you really find out
Yes,
how much it's.
the value that we're notifying the public of this summer would be effective for the January 2016 tax bill. That's when they would first see it on their tax bill.
Would they be able to somehow calculate, okay, here's what it's gonna be,
Thank you.
just to be.
We do
prepared?
have a tax estimator, but it's based on last year's rates, and those rates won't be set, the tax rate for the district won't be set until December by the state. The state will take a look at what we do in our triennial update, and as for most levies, as the values increase, House Bill 920, which was passed in 1976, basically charges the state with setting tax reduction factors that offset an increase in value due to reappraisal or triennial update with a reduction in the rate. So if the values go up 7% in a district, let's say in Plain Township, they go up for Class 1, which would be residential agricultural, 7%. For those levies that House Bill 920 applies to, which are the things outside of inside levies like the county gets, you would see a 7% reduction in many of those millage rates for each of those levies. Those aren't determined until the abstract's filed in October and the state has an opportunity to review it and then calculate the reductions that they see as necessary.
Right, but people can take their number and go
Yes.
onto our website and plug in their parcel and put the new value in and to see what, again, it's just an estimate, because even when we send these out, we still don't know what levies are gonna be on the ballot this
Right.
fall, because they still have about 3.5 weeks to submit those to us and then to the Board of Elections. Though we update that, so as we go through the process, as we get better information, we keep making it available.
Right.
And as Jason said, so we have 33 days that will be out there, and is it 7?
7 different locations
7
throughout
locations
the
across
county.
the county. So we'll be in Maslin, Alliance, Louisville, North Canton.
North Canton,
So you're saying 33 meetings?
Canton.
Yes.
33 days where we'll be at some place.
So
Sometimes we'll be at multiple
A meeting a day or
places.
multiple meetings? in a day?
Sometimes
Sometimes
multiple
multiple
meetings a day.
meetings in a day.
And it's not a, here, we're here to present, it's you come in and you have one-on-one with the staff.
Right.
It's in the evenings,
in
it's
the
on
evenings,
Saturdays.
weekends. We try
So-
to make ourselves as available as possible.
Do you have a list somewhere of all these?
Yes, we do have a master list that we'll have on our
If they went up by
website.
Oh,
ten
yeah, on the
percent,
site.
they automatically think that their taxes
Taxes
are
are-
going up by 10.
Right.
It's just hard to get them settled down
Right.
Right.
when they want. Oh boy, I
Yeah.
want to be you at all.
We have an explanation of House Bill 920 on our site. We'll have it
These
available.
frequently asked
Then
questions.
Board of Revision next year.
I don't think I am, I think that the new commissioner.
The new commissioner
Of course, you're all-
I'm not.
Sure. All things being equal, levies and everything and rates and so forth, if your valuation goes up 10%, your taxes would go up 10%, is that correct? All things being equal?
No,
No.
no,
No.
No.
Why not?
Well,
the
There's
inside,
several things that-
right,
The first 10 mils of your tax bill is the unvoted millage.
Right.
That 10%, that 10 mils will
Will
be
go.
affected by the increase.
Okay,
It will also be, if it's new construction, and new rates will attach, and also if there are new levies,
Okay.
that
I
pass.
said all things being equal. Don't-
Well, but
don't-
that's
No,
not.
it's not.
But that's
No.
not,
Schools don't.
so
No.
your current road
Yeah.
levy that's on, your current
Yeah, I'm
library
saying,
levy.
forgetting new levies, and forgetting
No.
what's dropped,
Say
all
no.
things being equal,
No.
I have the
No.
same amount of,
No,
No.
okay,
No.
well, why did he say that then?
What I'm saying is your current levies, it doesn't affect the voted levies. If a levy is sitting on your property tax value, the increase of the value, it does not increase those levies. They're gonna collect the same amount.
Right.
So the schools don't get, if they have a 5 mil levy on, they don't get to see an increase. I mean,
it depends.
Unless it's an go ahead, emergency
Unless
levies.
it's an emergency. But generally speaking, absent emergency levies, which the schools are permitted to use, to raise a fixed percentage is how the emergency levies work. But most levies for operations and for the townships and the schools and that are set to raise a fixed dollar amount.
Right.
So, so when they say, we need to raise $2 million, Mr. Auditor, how much millage do we need to assess in our township to raise that $2 million, or in our school district, whatever the case may be? And then again, there is allowances for new construction and destruction and things like that over time. But categorically, if in the beginning I had to charge you 2 mils to raise $2 million, and then your values go up, I'm going to charge, I'm going to charge less because I'm only am charged with raising that same $2 million. Again, save for new construction and things like that. So as a percentage, you're right, there's a percent that always floats with wherever your value is, but the bulk of the bill is governed by, or the bulk of your tax bill is governed by House Bill 920, the voted portion of it. But again, it's complex because we have bond issues, we have emergency levies and that all factor in to part of your tax bill too. We have to look at we look at the reserves for the bonds too, to see how much we really need to go out and assess. So we'll begin our process for this for establishing the millage in August. That's when we'll look at the school rates, specifically the bond levies, and then we'll finish up as soon as the abstracts due to the state at the end of October, and then we'll finish the rate calculation after that with the state. So we're able to peg it pretty close, but as we work through. But the state is the one that actually sets the rate. They tell us what we will assess.
How many
No, go ahead.
how many taxing districts are there now?
102.
102.
So out of all the 102 taxing districts, every district has a different layer of taxes, voted taxes. So it's really hard to give a rule of thumb or
So there's no rule of thumb whatsoever, I mean.
other than
Well,
your first 10 mils,
Yeah.
that's pretty much a rule of thumb. The first 10 mils are definitely going to move with that percentage.
Their levies just bring in X.
No, they're they're passed to raise a certain dollar amount, and they have a reduction factor attached to
Okay,
there.
so they're like much,
But-
they're not, yeah, okay.
Let's give you another for instance, and we've been talking to the subdivisions about this, to the fiscal officers, to the school treasurers, regularly. We first went out in March to talk to them. I'll go out formally again to talk to them at the beginning of August. But, John and Doug have been having these conversations with them over time. Part of the problem that we ran into in 12 is a levy that was passed, say, in 10 or 11, when the values were having their decline. They may not have ever realized the full effect, the levy that was passed. And in Kansas City schools, this was a big problem in 12 because the levy was passed in 11. We only collected it for I think 1 year at the voted rate, and then we dropped the values based on what the market was telling us. Well, I can't just, again, the way that general voted levies work is I can't just raise you up to go collect that. So we had several levies that were passed in the early part of 10, in 10 or 11 that hit the ceiling, so they never quite collected what they expected to collect, because I couldn't go above that voted millage. The voted millage on the assessed value raised less money than what was expected. at the time that the levy was passed. And we will still run into that a little bit here, particularly in Kansas City schools, where they're still going to see a drop this time. So,
Is that who took the biggest hit? Kansas
They
City?
had they were a net loss in value.
Kansas City
They were the
schools.
only district that lost value. Everyone else increased.
Kansas City schools or Kansas City?
Both.
Okay.
and it's balanced, I know, within the city, it's balanced against, the northern part of the city. It balances out a little bit where you have those that are particularly Kansas City plain local tax district, where they'll see an increase.
An increase.
Yep, but, we still have a lot of pressure south of 12th Street, east and west, we not having good sales because banks are still driving. Landlords are still driving a lot of the market. Landlords that just flip from owner to owner that wouldn't qualify really as arm's length sales and that. So for us, the modeling for the city has, it's very difficult because we don't have as much good data. So.
Knowing the state likes 100%, what value, where are you going in?
We're
90?
between 92 and
Oh,
95.
that's good, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you
good.
should be in a good place.
You should be in a good
Yeah.
place then with them on that, yeah.
No, they were, again, with, a lot of credit goes to Jason and to the folks that work directly with him, like Megan Slater and Sonia and the appraisers, because we sent it down, had very little conversation and got it back. I mean, this can sometimes be a lot of back and
Yeah.
forth, but Jason and the staff do a real good job. And a little further kudos to him, I don't know that I've shared with you.
What's your direct line, Kit?
7320.
And your home line, why is why is that published on the side?
Let me give you my cell number.
And
No,
your
that's
home
a-
address.
I put it right here on the notice.
That's all right, but
When does these come out now?
they're gonna drop Friday,
Drop
so
on
people will
Friday.
see them Saturday and Monday, Tuesday.
So that is all parcels, you said 130, 140,000?
140,000
Is that all
mailers.
residential or is that all?
It's a
Commercial?
combination of res, commercial, and agricultural.
Well-
It's very similar to the kind of tax bills that go out.
Yeah,
Some of them that we're sending, we have multiple, to your point about landowners who own 10 or more parcels, we're sending those separately under one mailer rather than sending them 10 notices.
So this is everybody that's got a parcels getting that?
no, we
No.
have almost 200,000 parcels. We
Right.
elect not to send them to certain vacant parcels,
Right.
those that are not improved, that have a value less
Less
than
than $5,000.
$5,000. So we say, your change
Yeah.
is gonna be pretty nominal. If you're delinquent on your taxes,
If you're exempt from
if
taxation.
you're exempt from taxation,
Right.
you won't receive one.
And there's some people that, there are some people that get like a zero tax bill. Not a
Correct.
whole lot of them, but
Right.
there are people that
Yeah.
get a zero tax.
Right, people who are on homestead, we have a lot of folks in that category where we may change their value, but again, because of the homestead
Yeah,
reduction
they,
or the veterans disabled reduction, they don't receive a bill at all. Save your $6 annual fee, or if you're in a special improvement district or things like that.
Speak to what's driving the soil value increases? Is that actually production output, crop prices?
Yes, it's, I think there's a couple, the state would say it's a couple things, and I'm not expert in this, this is more their domain.
Sure.
But they would say it's yield rates, crop prices, and capitalization rates, which basically the capitalization rate is driven by just the low interest rates that we've had for so many years. The cost of borrowing money is so low, which drives the cap rate down, which increases the value. With crop prices rising, it basically the net effect is you're gonna see an increase in the value of the soil. So that's it in a real short nutshell. The State Department of Taxation actually has a fairly lengthy 20 to 25 page explanation on the exact formula that they use and where they pull their rates and where they get the
How often do they
crop
revisit
prices
them?
every year.
Every year?
The
Yeah.
prices are revisited every year, the formula is, but then the mechanisms in the formula were actually changed for the first time this year, where we used to have a 2-year lag in data reporting for the crop prices. And again, it's a 7-year average that they throw out the high and throw out the low as part of the production. So now we are getting data. The data that will be used this year was actually 14 production. Yep. Yep, 14 production. So they'll see that on their bill in 15. So that was good. It used to be 13 production. It would have been seen on the bill in 60, you know. The other part is they changed the capitalization rate formula. They used to use a 15-year mortgage,
Right.
and they use a
25, I think.
25-year mortgage rate now. Again, when rates, historic rates, this would help out a little bit more with the with the pressure to keep rates low right now. It won't have as meaningful an impact. But the Farm Bureau is very, very much part of the conversation. As Jason had alluded earlier, we have separate communication. All the landowners and the farmers will get the same notice here, but then in about a week to 10 days, they will get a separate notice from us because we will have separate education for them with the State Farm Bureau, with Ohio State Extension coming in. We'll kind of cover the local market piece, and the state will come in and explain that. And if you want to have fun, come on out to one of those and have a couple hundred farmers that are real excited to see you out there. Is that? But we, as Jason said, we are constantly.
Just have Richard all these meetings.
Yeah,
That's
he
right.
likes to do that, yeah, Richard, why don't you go ahead and represent the,
Absolutely.
That's right.
represent the commissioners?
I'm gonna get my
Sure.
CAU is going up 40%.
August 18th and August 26th.
That's right.
Where are they?
That
They're
one
gonna
will
be
be
at
at
the Fold
Fulton, one will
Center
be
in
at
East
Drake.
Canton on 18th, and on RG Drag on the 26th,
Okay.
in
Yeah,
the
I'll go.
evening, so.
Yeah, no, they're,
Another,
okay.
well, the quick question,
Yeah.
pipelines. Have you and the state and everybody figured out of how these are all gonna be taxed?
This
and-
Rover
Well, Rover and Spectra.
and Spectra, again, we get a number from the state, this is a
So
utility.
you haven't gotten that yet, though?
No, nothing's there yet.
So the pipe goes in the ground, is that how
Right.
that?
Right.
Yeah, we probably wouldn't get that
And what
until the
kind of
following.
lag, do you have any idea of what, once that pipe goes, because they're saying Rover will be built in fall of
We
2016?
tax, I think public utilities no different,
Right.
correct me if I'm wrong. If it's there on January 1st, then it gets taxed. If it's not there on January 1st, it doesn't get taxed.
Okay.
So, and the thing again, and I think we've discussed a little bit, the thing about the pipelines is the state will give us a number, or they'll say this is the number to expect. But then, just like a homeowner has the right through the Board of Revision process, the utility has the right through the Board of Tax Appeals process. That's not us, this is the state, where they can then go in and challenge the values. And those in the office that have seen this cycle before, certainly like John and Doug, they're the ones that directly deal with this side of it. They would say, don't quite believe the first number you get, because many times they go in and they file their appeals, and these are negotiated down with the state, or decided down with the State Department of Taxation. So we share, the school treasurers, I think, know that you need to hold off on that. But until there's a pipeline, operational pipe in the ground on January 1st, you're probably not going to see, it hit the tax bill. Again, that'll be then a whole year lag, so until they get the money. But again, we're grateful for the questions that you have, and know that you all will certainly get questions and phone calls about this. We are well-staffed. Everybody will be here. Again, the first few days will be tough in that, but we drive people to our website to file their complaints, to send us information, send us appraisals, send us settlement sheets, send us pictures. You can do that all through the website. We handled about 2,700 unique complaints last time, so we would hope to do the same, have similar numbers here. And again, think of the market last time too, where it was tough, and then we had about 2,300 Board of Revision cases still in the following year.
So what number do you want when they call us? Because it's probably best that we
It's
not
on the
try to
mailer.
defend.
It's on the
It's
mailer.
on the mailer, if you look on
Okay.
the second
All right,
page.
second page.
If they don't want to visit us at the site, if they'd like to meet with us face-to-face, we'd ask them to go there. But if they can reach our office at 330-451-7085.
Could you send me a list of where the public meetings will be?
Absolutely, and that'll be on our website as well. We're gonna
Okay.
publish all that.
That's
Yeah,
good.
I
I just
will,
wanna
I will
share.
definitely send you a list, yes.
And
And you can give every taxpayer my favorite saying that I learned a long, long time ago.
Yes, ma'am.
When your house is for sale, it's a mansion, but when the tax man cometh, it's a pitiful wreck.
So,
So, your house.
It's a mansion. But by God, when I get that tax bill, I wanted, I argued with you the last time. I did not want my value to decrease.
and we
It
have.
is so important that, and that's what I try to, it's like an old auditor.
Right.
It's, that of all the things you spend money on, that's the most valuable asset, other than your family, that you have, and you want it to appreciate.
Right.
So these numbers.
We certainly have folks that come through our board of revision
ask
process
for it to be
or
increased.
come through Jason's office, throughout the time in between where they do want an increase. And again, I started to say earlier, but just a little bit of kudos to Jason too. He's now recognized across the state and really across the region as a trainer in the ways of mass appraisal. Many of you knew Bob Graham, who had been in the office before, and Bob has been part of the IAAO, which is the International Association of Assessing Officers. And they have the formulas and the procedures in that govern what we do worldwide in this mass appraisal process. But Jason has gone through a lot of training and a lot of teaching to get to the point where now he's the one for our state that's going out to other county auditors, or they're coming here to our county to train, really under his tutelage. He and, there's a couple others in the state, but I'm very proud of the work that he's done here. And our folks should have a lot of confidence in what gets done, and we're really lucky to have him on staff here. We're certainly unique in that respect.
And thank you also.
Yeah.
for
Echo that, or agree, for sure.
Very nice.
Good luck the next 6 months.
Thank you.
You've been through it before.
Thank you.
Not really.
Yeah, it's not my first rodeo.
No, but it is, we want to communicate, so we'll
Yeah, we
have
do.
things in the paper, we'll be on the radio. And again, we really want to make this.
Rotary.
I've been to almost, I think I have one more realtor group to talk to, but I've been, to all the realtors, because, their clients are going to be seeing this, and how does this relate to what I'm trying to sell my home for? So I will go out and talk to anybody, and that will continue really through the end of August, a couple, 3 times a week. And we want to make it easy for the public to interact with us in whatever way. So that's why we are across the county. We're trying to make it easy for the folks to come see us, to talk to us about
This
this.
is great news when it all comes down to it. I mean,
Positive.
as Jim Camp said from Cutler, he says, best real estate market he's seen in 50 years.
He came to 2 of my presentations. He was so enthralled by the first one, he went back for another
I wanted
one.
to see if you're gonna say the same thing. at
I
that.
know, yeah, really. So, okay.
Okay, great, thanks.
I was just like 50 years, he didn't like the real estate market 2007, but.
I'm just going by what he said, and he said I could quote him on it too.
When there were like 5,700 sales in 2005, 4,100 in 2000.
Yeah.
Cross-examine.
I'm just going by what he told me, what he told
And
me.
cross-examine them on it.
When you look at the repository on Saturday, that thing used to be like this, now it's 3 pages.
And any of the realtors will tell you, this is a supply-demand issue, really, right now. There's
Right.
little inventory out there relative,
Absolutely.
and that's certainly driving prices. Certainly driving prices up, to basic economics. So, okay.
Hey, do we have anything additional, Brant, that we need to discuss while we are together? Anything?
Yours, anything else?
No, it's just like.
You better get a bigger mailbox, multiple properties as you Or which one should we send it to? It's probably
Okay.
P.O. box somewhere.
There being nothing additional, we are adjourned at 10:53 a.m. Thank you. Thanks, Jason.
Thanks, Jason.
Now.